Okay, hey guys, my video didn't play, but hey guys, welcome into College Sports Class. This is our week wrap up and live chat show, and we hope that you guys will join us in the chat room on this show. We try to be interactive, and we will just kind of wrap up the week that was in the world of college sports. And today I have John Roberts on with me. He's in Birmingham, Alabama. Wave to the crowd.
Hi.
And then I also have Jason Harrison on with me. And he is in Little Rock, Arkansas. And he's joining us. Jason, if anybody does know, he's an Ole Miss Rebel graduate, played college ball. So we want to give him his props for being on. Hey, Jason.
Oh, good to be back.
You hanging in with us today?
Hey, as long as I can, I got those twins that'll be there.
All right.
My butt. I got you.
Okay, man. All right. So we're going to kind of, hey, the Bar Banter podcast said hello.
They joined us.
They already have joined us, and we want to say hi, guys. How are you? We look forward. We hear that we're going to kind of do a collab between the two shows, and we look forward to that. So we appreciate you being on with us, and we'll be on your show, and some of y'all can be on ours, and it'll be time, and we'll have a few laughs and a few things, so it'll be fun. I'm glad you guys are jumping on. So they said that they can't wait. I appreciate that, guys. Yep, I appreciate you being on with us. So, and it looks like Hammonds is on through.
Hey, Bar Banter. What are you drinking?
What kind of hops you got over there, man?
Me?
Or ale or hops or whatever.
Oh, I've got the T- Tangerine Kolsch. It is from Yellowhammer Brewing, which is in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
There you go. That's what I've got.
All right.
Free promotion.
Yeah, I was going to wait and see if Bar Banter jumps on with us and tells us what they got going on. But
no, that was just a little bit that they do at the beginning of their episodes. Is that they'll sit there and they'll go around the table as to who or what everybody's got. You know
what they had.
Like, hey,
yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Okay. Oh,
so I kind of did that since they were on with us. I went ahead and said, "Hey,
right. I got you. Absolutely.
They ought to get it. There you go." No. We know they're not trying to join the eye.
No. Yeah.
One of them's got a young child, and
that's what he said. He's dealing with a toddler there. I got it up there.
Yeah. So, no, this was just more of a shout out to them. That's what they normally.
No. We
do
know.
at the beginning of theirs.
You're just in the chat room. We enjoy having the banter back and forth with our chat room, so we appreciate it.
Yeah. Whether it's at a bar or not. You left it up
right. So the news this morning in the sports world, college football, was that Navy has fired their coach after yesterday. They lost in double overtime to Army, and their coach had been there 15 years. So, and he's the program's all-time winningest coach. Just in case you see what Barbanter says there, I'm not sure what that means. Do you know what that means?
That's just a heart. He loves it.
um, so he's the program's all-time winningest coach. His record's 109 and 83 in 15 years. I would think that's a pretty good record for Navy. Myself, I was kind of surprised at the news that they fired their coach. Go ahead, Jason. What do you think about it? I was surprised by it.
Did he have a bad year this year?
Yeah, I think they went 4-8 after yesterday, I believe. Yes. So yes, he did have a bad year this year.
Well, I really don't get a chance to watch. I didn't get to that. I was busy, but yeah, news in my opinion. Who will they get? Who?
I don't know, and they I'm sure they have to get somebody that's tied to their, all of their stuff in the Navy and everything. So, I'm not sure how that works. John Roberts, do you know anything more about it as far as how that would work, as far as you would hire a coach? I know the answer to that.
I mean, I think look, the last two guys are like that they've had. I think they had the guy that's at Virginia, or he was recently at Virginia. He may still be at Virginia, but it's one of those. I think I've gone completely blank.
Blank.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you
it's like a Samoan name, but I can't remember the guy's name.
Let me tell you the Naval Academy a quote today. All right. So their quote today on this says, "Our serious gratitude to Coach Ken for what has been a distinguished and impactful legacy at the Naval Academy. Navy football flourished for many years under his leadership. He will forever be remembered for the influence he had on the lives of those who played for him. We all have great respect and appreciation for his 25 years of service to the Academy." So he's not only been their coach for 15 years, he's done, he's been a part of their Naval Academy for 25. So
that's a long time. That's a long
It is.
time.
Yeah, right. So I just kind of wanted to hit on this because I think it's pretty big news this morning that they fired the guy that, been there that long. It's like I said, his record is 109 and 83. And he succeeded Paul Johnson. Is that who you're talking about, Roberts?
No, because Paul Johnson then went to Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, right.
Yeah. No, I thought, well, maybe he can't. Hell, he could have come from Virginia. Who knows? I can't remember.
But in this story, it says that he succeeded Paul Johnson in 2008, is what it says.
Yeah.
And this guy's name, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. It looks Hawaiian.
It's Samoan.
Samoan, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, Samoan, yeah. His last name.
Right.
Yeah. Matter of fact, it says he played at Hawaii from 87 to 89. He was a quarterback.
There you go.
Yeah. The story does. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out this morning or this afternoon because I saw it this morning when I woke up that the Navy had fired their coach from after yesterday's debacle, I guess, the way it ended, I guess, I mean, they fought hard and they had the lead and probably should have won the game.
Yep.
So Hammond's, if I can get it to come up here, Hammond says he's here. He's having some issues with his laptop or something, he says.
It's all good. What we got next?
Well, so just a couple of news things. Looks like Oregon State has agreed to contract with their head coach through 2029. Looks like he gets $30.6 million. I think it's like an extra 6 years, $30.6 million on his contract.
Yep, that's what it says. For the contract. Yeah, exactly. 4.8 million.
Yep. So
pretty nice.
Yeah, his name is Jonathan Smith, is the Oregon State head coach, and he got a contract extension this morning. I think didn't Oregon State? Yeah, they're going to a bowl. They went 6-6. They're going to the Las Vegas Bowl. And then of course the big news yesterday. What's that?
They went 9-3 this year. They're playing in Florida. They're playing in Las Vegas Bowl. So that's why he got awarded. Went 9-3 this year.
Right, and this year they did. Yeah. And then of course the big news in college football last night was the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
I think I called it
surprising. Was it surprising news?
No, I called it.
I mean,
poll. I called it.
Yeah, for Caleb, yeah.
But to be honest, and I'm gonna be quick. I think it shouldn't have just been all quarterbacks. I'm gonna say the running back.
I get tired of seeing that too. That it's the only people that get recognized for the Heisman at all almost is quarterbacks.
Someone off that Georgia defense could have won one.
Yeah, Will Anderson off the Alabama defense possibly could have been there. Exactly. You got a couple of running backs in Corum and B.J. Robinson. Maybe even McBride from UAB, possibly deserved to be there. So, there's other people I think that deserve to be there, at least at the event, in the top 4.
Had won against Michigan. Was that quarterback winning?
Say what?
If Ohio State had beat, do you think that the quarterback won Ohio State?
Possibly. If they beat Michigan, does Stroud win? Is that your question?
Yes.
Yeah, I honestly, I kind of think he does. If they beat Michigan.
So, yeah, it would have helped, definitely.
Yeah, I think so. And matter of fact, if Tennessee hadn't had an atrocious outing against South Carolina, I actually think Hendon Hooker had a good chance of winning it myself. But
I agree. I agree with you.
I mean, the South Carolina game changed all that. He got hurt and they got trounced. But up to that point, I think Hendon Hooker had a real good shot at winning the Heisman as well.
Yep.
So, there's things, to kind of throw out there. That way there is some other people, like you said, on the defense. There's some guys from Georgia, especially on the line, that probably deserve to be in that conversation. I think Will Anderson, Defensive Player of the Year, deserves to be in that conversation from Alabama. So, and I named 3 running backs that I think deserve to be in that conversation as far as at least making the show, making the podium, the seats. There's usually four seats there that that people get to go and be a part of, and it's almost always anymore four quarterbacks. That's about all you ever see. Right, Roberts?
Yeah, that kind of shocked me right
Exactly. Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I mean, it's always quarterbacks there, it seems like. But, I mean, it would be nice to have, other positions win or be at least there. I know that recently we've had Devontae Smith win it as a wide receiver. So it can be done. It's been forever since a defensive player. Well, let me do this. Since a defensive player has won the Heisman, so
It's been a while since a defensive player's even made the four seats.
yes, now that is true.
I'm not even necessarily talking about winning. I just think that there are other positions on the field that deserve to have that recognition to
Yeah,
make
I mean
the
it's not
seats.
a quarterback award. I mean that's what the Maxwell and the Davey O'Brien awards are for,
Right.
But it is the best player. It's supposed to be the best player in college football, and sometimes it ends up being the best player on the best team in college football as opposed to the best player. Now you had guys like Lamar Jackson and a few others that won it that were not the best player on the best team. They were the best player, which was
Right.
the way that it should be.
Right.
So hopefully you'll get more variety of people being at least selected or put into the mix, so
Right. I just kind of wanted to throw that out, and then I've got Hammond says that Mike Leach was sent to the hospital through an ambulance.
yeah, that's
So
what it
I've got
said
that.
right here.
I've got that up. I haven't seen or heard that, but Hammond says that I don't know if he meant today, this morning, now. I'm not sure what he means by that, but I got that up on the screen. I do. He says he knows that I like Mike Leach. I do like Mike Leach. He's eccentric and funny and a good football coach, I think. So he's been a coach for a lot of years. He coached at UA a long time ago as an assistant. And I do like Mike Leach. So that is true.
I think he is much needed for
Go ahead.
college football. I said, for
Yeah.
college football, he is much needed.
Oh, I think he's great for college football. I mean, if you ever catch some of his post game interviews after the games, man, I mean, he does some stuff. He talks about everything: Halloween candy, advice for getting married, weddings. I mean, it's funny. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's good stuff.
Yeah, so it's being reported through. I think right now I'm looking at Fan Nation Cowbell Corner right now, and it just says Mississippi State head coach Mike Leach transported to Jackson in an ambulance after suffering a health issue. Doesn't really go on to say anything about what the health issue is. It just said that he was at his home and that he had whatever the health issue was and has gone to the hospital at Jackson, and that that the university is not going to make any further comments at this time.
Well, that could be good or bad. I mean, you don't never know, but I do hope the best for Coach Mike Leach, and prayers for him and his family. So,
Yep, that was SI.com. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Jason.
I just wish him a speedy recovery.
Right. I mean, kind of wanted to get that in since John had put that up there. Hammonds had put it up. And let us talk about that for just a few minutes. And that's kind of some of the big news that I've seen so far in the college football world this morning. And, you know, this week, the only game was the Army-Navy game. I picked Navy. I should have won it probably, but Army pulled it out in double overtime. I think Roberts picked Navy as well. Isn't that right?
I did. I picked Navy. I think everybody else picked Army. But
Yeah, I think everybody else picked. Yeah,
I picked Navy
So-
for family allegiances, and
right.
got
Well,
close.
to
but
be
did
honest with you,
did
it's not
win.
my family, but I have a really, really good friend that was one of the top. He retired a couple of years ago now, but he was one of the top people in the. He was the top person at the down in Pensacola at the academy down there and the base down there. He was the top person on the base, and him and his family are very, very good people. I even give you a shout out. His name is DJ Henson, and he's a great dude. So I kind of wanted, that's. And I used to live right next to the base down there, and it's, I don't know, it kind of grew on me. So,
Yeah.
So that was part of the reason for myself. All right, we'll switch and we'll get into the world of basketball. The world of basketball yesterday, college basketball was kind of fun. There was a lot of good games on yesterday. Hopefully, if you had time yesterday to catch some ball games, you got a chance at because there was a whole lot of good games. I guess the biggest game of the day was probably Alabama and Houston. So I'll start with that one. I mean, that was a top 10 matchup. Houston's number 1. Bama was, I think, number 8. It was played at Houston.
Yep.
It was the first time ever that Houston was playing a top 10 matchup at home. So that was a pretty big deal.
Get a chance
Jason, did you get a
to
chance?
watch it.
Yeah, did you get a chance to watch that?
I didn't get a chance to watch it. Was Alabama came and fought. It was a good game. One of those physical. I think he came down the guard play again. Pretty good down the stretch. And they took 5.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Guard play was big in that game. Alabama got down. They were down 15 points with 17 and a half minutes to go. And somehow climbed and fought and clawed their way back to a win at Houston. I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
Oh yeah. I guess Alabama, when they went down there, I mean, they were on a mission. They didn't have a. I mean, it seemed like that they were going to get blown out early, especially coming right out of the second half. It looked like they were going to get blown out right there after going into, I think, halftime, maybe down 4. It looked like Houston was fired up and they were hitting on all cylinders, and Alabama was not. But they came back from a what was it, about 9 or 15? They went on a run and came back, and they were able to hit free throws late, which they were missing early in the game. I think Brandon Miller was
big from the free throw line.
Correct at the end of the game versus at the beginning of the game. I think he was silent. I don't think anybody had heard from him until
he was. He was. Yeah,
he finally had a few points scored, and plus making his free throws at the
But he stepped up. He made. He went. I know he went 6 for 6 in the last minute and a half.
Right. And Houston, their opportunities at the free throw line were either only, hitting one or missing both. And
they missed 3 in the last 20, 30 seconds that would have changed the game.
Could have changed the outcome of the game. Yep.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So that was, it was. Yeah, they just weren't. They just weren't performing right there at the when it mattered the most, and so Alabama was able to take away the victory. I think there actually was a handshake at the end of the game, as opposed as opposed to last year when Nate Oates went out to the middle of the floor, stuck out his hand, and there was nobody there.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it was a lot more cordial at the end than it was last year.
Yeah, I could see that.
Last year there was some trash throwing and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot more to it.
Yeah.
But it was a physical game. There was a lot of things that would be called fouls in every other game. They let a lot of stuff go, which is fine as long as you do it both ways and all the way through the game. And that apparently is what they had done for most of the game. So that was, again, it was fine. Allow them to play physical, and that's okay.
We're right.
And I didn't. Go ahead.
I said, looking at the stats, Houston with 22 from the free throw line, and then Alabama was wow. The game was one of the free throws.
The end of it was definitely one at the free throw line. Brandon Miller stepped up and hit 6 big free throws towards the end of the game, and Houston had a chance, like I said, at the very end. I'm talking the last 20, 30 seconds of the game, to hit 3 more free throws. They missed 3, and at the time would have cut it to a 1-point game. Instead of it being a 1-point game, it was a 5-point game, which put it out of reach.
And then it went downhill from there because I think they ultimately won by either 9 or 12 or something like that.
It was 6, I think, but yeah.
Oh, it was only 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was.
Yeah, 71, 65.
That's right. That's right.
But it was like a 4 or 5-point game, and they went to the free throw line a couple of times and had a chance to cut it to 1, which would have been, a 1-possession game with just some time on the clock.
Oh yeah,
and could have made a different outcome. I'm not saying Houston wins that game if they hit the free throws, but they at least would have had a shot.
Puts a lot of pressure on Alabama at that point.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and like I said, I didn't watch that whole game, but I did kind of hit back and forth. I was watching a few others too. And then when it got tight at the end, I watched the last, because I knew it was coming down to the end, a fun game to watch. So, UK played yesterday. I watched some of that. They're still kind of hit or miss. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to turn out to be. Yesterday, to be honest with you, on the UK game, it turned out to be the Oscar Tshiebwe show in the second half. He scored 22 points of the 34 or something that the whole team scored in the second half. And it turned out to be the Oscar Tshiebwe show, which, don't get me wrong, I love Oscar, and I love watching him play, and I love watching him do his thing. But, when you're playing Kansas instead of Yale, that's not going to work out. So, you can't count on one man to carry you through to beat Kansas or Duke or North Carolina, or you get what I'm saying.
I was
Jason,
telling you earlier. I mean, remember what I told you? We had to make sure that the guard for Kentucky on the road, you correct, young team, Calipari, meshing during the course of, that's probably the issue right now. at Kentucky, because Kentucky is the team's best shot. Big fella in the middle doesn't hurt them over game. I think Cason Wallace and others keep stepping up.
Cason Wallace has been playing well.
Yeah. He's a stud. Watched him in high school and all.
He plays very mature. I love to watch Cason Wallace play. He's a great. I mean, he gets after it on the defensive. I mean, he doesn't take a break on defense.
Came in with a college body. Came in college ready.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and then Roberts, we'll throw in a little Auburn. I was kind of disappointed in Auburn yesterday. Late afternoon, early evening. I don't think they played sloppy. They had a lot of up and down turnovers, and they couldn't hit the broadside of the barn for a while in the second half. I mean, honestly, they were throwing up some bricks there for a little while.
Yeah. So let's see. They got out rebounded, especially late in the second half. They didn't have any block shots, which they were averaging 8 going into the game. They didn't get their first block shot until 3 minutes to go in the game.
Right.
Their big men didn't play big, and they just weren't hitting shots. They weren't hitting free throws. They weren't making passes. They weren't doing basically everything that you really need for a basketball team to do to succeed, to win a basketball game. Whether on a neutral field, neutral site, or on the road. So it was not a great day all around, and they shows on the scoreboard.
Absolutely, and they couldn't. I mean, when I say they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, I mean honestly, they couldn't even finish around the rim.
Right. That is very true. Janai Broome and I believe just a lot of the guys that just weren't rebounding well. I mean, they were, again, passes just either they weren't making the extra pass or they were making too many of them. They weren't taking the shots. The shots that they were taking weren't falling. Just right. It wasn't great all the way around. And right there, I guess the last minute or two of the game, I ended up switching over and watching most of the second half of the UAB game, which ended up resulting about the same, where it was about a 9, 10, 11, 12-point, loss. UAB was in the game for most of the game and then got beat right down the stretch and ended up losing about 10 or 11 to West Virginia at West Virginia. So right. I did catch a bit of that one. Jelly Walker, I think, still led. He made all scores with 19. There may have been a few others, but yeah, there was. Just I guess not everybody was. They just didn't put it all together in that game.
Right.
So,
Jason, did you get a chance to watch any games yesterday? Talk about any games that you might have got a chance to watch.
The Auburn game.
Yeah.
When I get like he said, man, go on 6 shoot those threes, and when you go 6, especially on a neutral court, man, you're not gonna be able to get a team like Memphis who actually didn't shoot. They rebounded the ball well fast.
They rebounded and they were scrappy too.
Yeah, you can tell the Memphis Tigers are ready to fight.
Yeah, Davis for Memphis was just playing out of his mind in that game. So
yeah,
27, 9 rebounds. Yeah, he filled the stat sheet up last night.
Yeah, and I think he was cold the last the few games before, coming in, and then he broke out and got hot again.
Right.
Yeah.
But I want to say this about the whole Memphis deal. So after the Auburn game yesterday, I started hearing some buzz on Twitter, seeing some stuff where it looks like Memphis is back, or Memphis is playing the best they ever played under Penny Hardaway. I've seen a little bit of stuff, and I want to say hold the phone on that just a little bit yet. I'm still not 100% sold on that. Auburn played terrible yesterday. I mean, they really did. They looked terrible. They played terrible. And they still only beat Auburn by like 9 or something, 10, or, it was around that. And don't get me wrong. I mean, Penny's always got some players. All right. He gets some players. I'm just not sold yet that he can put it together and perform the way they should on the floor. But maybe he's showing some signs of learning. So, maybe. Jason, what do you say about that?
They're on a 6-game winning streak.
Yeah.
They beat Seton Hall, which is a game I thought they was going to win. So Stanford, UNC, Little Rock, and Auburn, which those are quality wins, but on Tuesday, and so I think that'll be able to tell a hostile environment and pull out maybe we can say Memphis.
Yeah, they play Alabama next. So yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, so we'll find out, just how much Penny and his team has picked it up. So
they play Alabama, the defeater of 2 number 1 teams. They are the giant killers.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So just to kind of recap, Illinois got trounced yesterday by Penn State, which was kind of a scratch your head game because Illinois is, they look great in some games that they've done, and then they turn around and they play a game kind of like they did yesterday. I mean, I'm not saying Penn State is a terrible team. I mean, it's a game that I feel like in Champaign that Illinois should have fairly easily handled and won, and they lost by 15 at home.
Make a miss lead, make a miss game, 12 or 24 from the 3, shoot 50, and only 9 times. That's a recipe to win. Going on the road and shooting the ball pretty well gives you actually win, and they actually battled on the board. Noah's only had 32 rebounds total in 26, so
right.
It wasn't many times and get that crowd involved and kept the crowd out of the game. I mean, 21 points in the second half. That's not going to get it.
Right. It was a game that kind of surprised me yesterday, so I wanted to kind of throw that one in there that we could talk about. UConn is looking like, the polls will come out. The new poll, Houston got beat, so there's going to be a new number 1. I would think that UConn's one of about 2 or 3 teams that might get some votes. I don't know that they'll climb all that from 5 to 1, but UConn might get some votes, just to throw that out there.
UConn is looking really scary good.
They might get some votes.
I think.
Do they play Alabama anytime soon?
Yeah.
Let me check. They got coming. They got Butler. That's good. They're about to get into that. So no, they don't. Oh no, they play Alabama. They
beat Alabama. That's why he's throwing that out there. They played earlier. That's Alabama's loss. They beat Alabama,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
but they didn't
Arkansas
play 'em when they were number
won a
one,
big game
so.
yesterday against Oklahoma. I thought that so the SEC had a pretty good schedule of games yesterday, and went 5-2. And Arkansas was one of the games that was won. They beat Oklahoma, and that game was in Oklahoma, wasn't it?
It was in Tulsa. It was in Tulsa.
It was in Tulsa. Yeah,
I think Tulsa. I got to watch
it
that.
was. It was. I just looked at it.
Mhm. I got to watch that game before. Promising young team. Musselman's team do get better, have to get better each and every game. Stay healthy. They have a chance. They have a chance.
I believe so too. I think they are a promising young team, and Musselman always does a good job of building and getting them better as the season goes along. So,
Yeah, they played a good game, but hey, when the play starts, you're gonna see who's gonna be the consume.
right. Mount St. Mary's beat San Diego State yesterday out in Phoenix. That's a game we had picked. I'm pretty sure I picked it wrong. I thought since it was not at Mount St. Mary's. I mean, did I say Mount St. Mary's? Did I say Mount?
Yeah, you did.
Why did I say Mount?
I don't know.
Me
I'm not
either.
in your head. I'm not in your head.
Why did I say that? I don't know why I said that. Anyways, St. Mary's, I don't know where I got them out from. I'm not sure where that came from. Anyway, they won yesterday and beat San Diego State. San Diego State is probably going to the top 25 now. I would think so. Kansas absolutely clocked Missouri at Missouri night.
Yeah, they did.
Made Missouri look absolutely pitiful, to be honest with you. They clocked them. So that was a game that we picked as well. And again, because it was a rivalry game and Missouri was like 8-0 and at home, I thought maybe that might be an upset. And inside the first 5 minutes of watching that game, I was like, well, that was a stupid pick.
That was dumb.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that was a dumb pick. So
don't worry, I'm dumb too.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that was a dumb pick.
Well,
Arizona handled.
Hey, if you looked at the records, you were thinking to pull up the upset, but yes, they had a pretty mediocre schedule.
They did. You're right on that.
They had so they weren't a caliber team, but I think it's a game going into the SEC, so they know what to work on. Each team to make a run and play better than it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Missouri, the coach is doing a good job there as far as building up that program and making them, have a better look and a better record and everything else. And their schedule, hadn't been terribly strong, and that was kind of the knock, saying, before the game, saying, we're going to find out just how well Missouri is right now. And then they go out and lay an absolute egg at home against Kansas. So Arizona and Indiana played a big game yesterday out in Vegas, the Vegas Clash. And Arizona's looking really, really good so far, if anybody's paying attention to Arizona Wildcats.
Looked good last year. I was surprised that they didn't make the – I think the coach over there is doing a great man, it's scary. scary. Our team, no. I do believe they're a top five team.
Oh, they're looking good. I mean, they really are. They handled Indiana, beat them by 14. And Indiana, week before had beaten North Carolina, which was at the time the number one, or well, maybe they had fallen from the number one spot when they beat them. But Indiana has got a pretty good team as well, and they handled them pretty good yesterday, I thought. So. And then the games from yesterday, the last one I'll talk about, I was surprised that BYU beat Creighton, and that game was in Vegas as well. BYU hit a shot kind of at the very end, beat them by 83-80. I'm not sure what's going on with Creighton. Like, they started the season out like 6-1, beat a couple of really good teams in that early season tournament, and the wheels have kind of fell off the last, I don't know, three out of the last 4 games. What do you say, Jason?
Well, I don't think they've been shooting the ball well. Of course, I've been looking at for Creighton. Now they're 10 for 27 from the 3. You got at least over 40% and give yourself a chance. Miss game. Either you make some or you don't make some. They play better in the second half, but like you said, the highlights right now, that last 3-point, not 3-point, but he went to the free throw line and made those to seal the game. They were up 80. Creighton had a chance, but when you don't make shots, you don't give yourself a chance.
Yeah, they've lost their last 3 games, Creighton. Of course, 3 games ago they lost to Texas, which is not a bad loss, by 5. But then they lost to Nebraska, and now they've lost to BYU.
One game I did watch. I did, and I was really surprised how Nebraska was against Creighton at home. Yeah. Creighton probably got some growing out before they get in the conference.
Yeah. That Nebraska game kind of surprised me because it was at home for the Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when I say they started the season out, I mean they beat Arkansas, who has we just talked about. They beat Texas Tech. I mean, they played some games. They hung right with Arizona, the Arizona team we just talked about, and lost 81-79 to Arizona. And then they, are getting beat by Nebraska and BYU. It's just a little, I don't know. It's kind of head scratching, to be honest.
It's kind of how we talked about before. Be consistent.
Yeah.
Consistent with their play and focus. I
don't know. He may have went out for a second.
Yeah,
Jason, you might have went out.
Lost him. May have lost him.
I lost.
Oh, there he is.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Well, they got to be consistent. You have to be out the whole year.
Right. Absolutely. And then the big game for today is Maryland and Tennessee, and it's on right now. It's a game that we picked for this week's Game Day Pick'ems as well. I did pick Tennessee in this game, just so we know. And it's the biggest game that's going on today. There is a couple of other games in the rankings. Iowa State plays today and Mississippi State plays today. So those are ranked teams that are playing today. But the Maryland and Tennessee game ought to be a fun game to watch. I'm sure, Robert, you probably got it on, right?
I do right now. 12-5 Tennessee.
Yeah, I figured you did.
A good team that is physical. Coach Ball has tough guys, and he has a good point guard who runs his show. They're gonna make a deep run in not only.
Yep. I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. I think Kevin Willard's done a real fine job so far at Maryland. I know they lost, I think, their last outing, and we'll see how they do today against Tennessee because Tennessee's got a good team, got good players. They're going to be a contender in the SEC along with Arkansas, Alabama, and possibly Kentucky. I'm not even really putting them in. I'm putting Kentucky and Auburn in the tier below them three, to be honest with you, right this minute.
Yeah, right now that's a good place for those two teams to be.
Yeah, that's where I would put, in my opinion, right now. And I'm a Kentucky fan, and he's an Auburn fan. So, but in my opinion, you've got Arkansas, Tennessee, and Alabama in one tier, and then I'd put a second tier and put Auburn and Kentucky in that second tier. Now, can Bruce Pearl and John Calipari get the guys going? But I think that's where I would put them. What do you say, Jason?
Forget about Ole Miss. That's not Ole Miss is going to be that.
Yeah, Ole Miss. Hey, they played yesterday and beat the crap out of Valparaiso.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah,
they beat the crap out of Valparaiso yesterday.
I don't know how good Valpo is. I don't know. I can say that, but it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. That's a game. Yeah, that's a game. That's the reason why Ole Miss really hasn't played too many games yet that I can kind of gauge them and see exactly where they are. It's kind of like the Missouri, what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
No,
I think the only team would be Oklahoma. And then, tournament in Orlando.
Right.
You can't forget them. Hey, and you can't forget. I know my Ole Miss brethren. You gotta keep a watch out. Coach J always ends up having a good team.
Oh, he's doing a good job so far, and they play today. Mississippi State does.
8-0, and so look at that. They're up the ladder slowly but surely. Mississippi State.
Yeah.
You never know.
LSU beat Wake Forest yesterday in the SEC, 72-70. So that was a big win for them.
How about those Murray State? Those Murray State.
Yeah.
KJ Williams at 30. I want to say he had 30. Correct.
Right. Yeah. It's you can't forget some of these little teams. They're the ones that's going to come in and spoil somebody's NCAA tournament. And hopefully this year it's not Kentucky. That's a little joke But anyways, they're the ones that are always wear the slippers and do the Cinderella stuff and hit the buzzer beaters and, make March Madness the fun, exciting stuff that it is. So.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
Yeah, like a Christian Leitner.
Oh, yeah, he's the little school stuff, yeah.
That's right. It's a little school. Yeah. Up and comer, right?
And I know exactly why you're throwing Christian Leitner out, but I wouldn't put him in the little school situations.
I don't know. I think that school's an up and comer. I think they're going to be good. I think they're okay.
Trying to throw the dagger, I see.
I don't know. The other school 8 miles down the road from that one had a pretty good showing, it seemed like, against Georgia Tech, the Rambling Wreck.
What's going on down there? What do you think?
I don't know, I'm not sure what's going on in Chapel Hill, to be honest with you.
They won.
I know, finally. They had won, but they lost 4 in a row before that.
So they
And
did.
Georgia
Yeah.
Tech, I wouldn't think Georgia Tech is going to be one of the top half teams of the ACC.
You're correct. You're correct on that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think they would be in the top half. So, and it was a close game for most of the game. They did push it out towards the end of the second half and beat them by 16, 75-59.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I mean, Miami and Duke are probably going in the ACC. I don't know going to be a top tier leader like it's been. I just don't believe in all the teams 10-1. I have some good players on that team. He does. I just don't know. And this year, bad. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year in the ACC.
The ACC, to be honest with you, Jason, I'm not 100% sold that they'll get over 3 or 4 teams in this time.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
I think their max might be 4, which is low for the ACC in basketball.
That is very low, but
yeah, and I mean, maybe they sneak in a 5th team, but right now I'm not sure who that would be. I think their max might be 4, maybe
3. I would say even
it could be. You may be right. It could be 3, but I'm just saying the max. Which is really low for the ACC.
A month.
I mean, heck,
so we'll know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's still early. I mean, to be that's just a speculation right now, basically.
Yeah, looking at these win losses and these, I think the better team with the 2 teams that North Carolina could turn it around, possibly Wake Forest.
Right.
But
right now, you got Virginia, and Duke that look like the 2 best teams in the ACC.
How can I get Virginia? You're exactly right. Virginia
is the best one.
Is around.
Yeah, I think right now, if I had to pick the top team in the ACC, I would pick Virginia.
But they double dribbled. Come on, gotta take shots when you got it. That one was wide open.
Yeah.
Unlike Auburn, I hit that one. Come on, God, I keep going.
Yeah, that's who I would pick right now. Would be Virginia. I think they've looked the best so far this season in the ACC. As a matter of fact, they're one of the teams that I was talking about that I think will get some votes for number 1. Virginia is.
You're right about Virginia's ranked number 3.
They are, and that's what I said. Virginia might be number 1 team tomorrow on Monday. The polls come out on Monday.
I don't think Texas is going to be looking good. Virginia, Purdue, Texas, Purdue.
That's and UConn.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 teams I was talking about. I think will get some votes for the number 1 spot. Is Virginia, Purdue, and UConn. Those are the 3.
Yes. Totally agree.
Yeah. and I'm not sure exactly which one will be number one tomorrow, but I think it'll come down to one of those three teams, is what I say.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. So just to kind of tell you guys about what's going to be happening this week. So we've got our Pick'em show that we're going to do on Thursday, and then on Tuesday we've got our Hot Topics and Pick Six segment show. Kind of give you guys a preview of it. I think we're going to try to get together an All-American, first team All-American for our Tuesday show, Hot Topic show for college football, and do an offense and defensive side and do our first team All-American team here on College Sportscast. So we will have that. You guys can have that to look forward to. We're also going to talk about we're each going to pick our top 6 bowls to watch on Tuesday. Bowl games this year for college football. So those are 2 things we're going to do to kind of give you a preview, and those will be some fun things to hit on this week. Go ahead, Roberts.
Oh, I just choose the most ridiculous ones. That's the one.
But
Cheese It Bowl is usually ridiculous. Cheese It.
The Duke Mayo Bowl, where they like the winner, like Beamer last year, like had mayo poured over top of you. Ew.
Bad Boy Mowers.
I can't even imagine. I'm not at all. They're not pouring. I don't care if I win. They're not pouring mayo over top of me. No.
Hey, I
that's
we might have to
just
do that. You hear me? We might have to pick.
No.
We might do two segments: the best and the worst names. 2 segments like that, man.
Yeah. Yep. We can.
or just ones that we would like, that we would prefer to have, because that would be pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think that we could have we could make up our own names too on a few of them. I mean, for a while for a while Birmingham didn't have a sponsor for their bowl game, and so it was just kind of like, hey, it's the Birmingham Bowl. Now I think it's
Birmingham.
It's the ticket something Birmingham Bowl. I can't remember what it is.
Right.
But
so we got somebody, Short Courts is on, and he says, "Don't knock the Mayo Bowl."
I'm not knocking the mayo itself or the bowl. I'm just knocking the tradition that's after it.
Yeah, well, see, then I'm going to put this one up. He says it's one of the funniest traditions and the silliness. That's the bowl season. It may be.
There you go.
I'm just telling you. Listen, it's cool to watch and all of that. I mean, and it's a funny thing to do and everything. I get that part. What I'm talking about is I just can't imagine it. For me, I would just.
You mean you don't want anybody to drop a load on you, right?
No, I can't do. I can't be doing that tradition. I can promise you.
You're on the road today, man. You're on the road.
Well, we could be Peyton Manning after the Super Bowl and just go, hey, what are you going to do next? I'm going to drink a Budweiser.
So, Short Courts is on with us, and now he says, think about how much money a coach gets for a bowl win. Some maybe $25K. Would you do it for $25K? LOL. I don't know, man. I'm telling you. Ew. Oh.
Sure. Yes, I would do it for $25K. I think that's.
Okay,
you're going to give me $25,000 for a win, and you're going to give me $25,000. You know.
Okay, you got me, Short Courts. I guess I would might do it for $25K. I'm not saying I don't like it. It's funny. You're all right. It is funny.
The Sell Your Soul Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
right.
Mm.
Well,
Did you
that
say
was
is
fun.
there
We
a cheese
appreciate.
ball? Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate you chiming in, Short Courts. That was kind of a funny little deal there. So, yeah, we like to encourage people to chat with us and watch. It means you were watching the show. You saw what I said about it. So, I appreciate it. We appreciate you being on with it.
Mhm.
That was kind of funny to do. Anything else y'all want to add before we kind of wrap this up for today on the week that was in the world of college sports?
I think the best is yet to come. This week, I will be showing my pretty face, Cass, so I won't have to just have a voice. I got to get my face out there too.
Right.
Is that time? Hey, I'm a football is not on because you cannot pop a basketball game that comes on. That slows the TV down. Keep up with college basketball. Never. College basketball, no way.
Right.
Correct.
Yep. Roberts, you got anything you want to add?
Oh man. Short Courts. Yeah, I don't know where he gets the internet from. Could be from Dollar General. Could be from. He's in and out, just like all Auburn shots. In and out.
Hey, that could be our sponsor, Short Courts.
In and Out Burger.
In and Out
And
Burgers.
the
I mean, yeah.
In and Out Internet.
I mean, we could.
We're the In and Out podcast.
Yeah, man, we could just use that.
That is very accurate. That is very.
Where'd that shot go? That was In and Out.
Isn't that what happened to TCU in their championship game at the goal line?
They were in and out.
Weren't they in and out? Yeah.
They were in and out. Especially that drive at the third down play. That was in and out. They were in and then they were out.
That's what I'm talking about. The third down
No
play
touchdown.
that they didn't review, and that was.
That's right.
In and Out Burgers. Hey,
and they still got
if you hear this,
all the way on the West Coast.
right. All right, guys. So this show is going to be featured on the Real Fresh channel. It's going to be on there after this, about an hour. It'll probably be up on his channel, YouTube channel, also on Twitter at the Real Fresh CHA. You can catch him there. He does other podcasts. He does pay-per-view wrestling events. He's got a pro sports pod, a comedy pod that's on his channel, a murder mystery pod, a sports betting pod. We're the college sports pod that's on his channel, and we appreciate the Real Fresh channel for having us in his network, and we want to put that out there. Also, Reaper Apparel Company, we are branded with them. You can get us 10% discount with Reaper Apparel, and I'll try to get that up real quick if I can get this computer to work.
Yes.
I'm trying. It's slow. All right. I think coming. There's the Reaper apparel. You can use the C Sportscast for a 10% discount. Any order $75 right now gets you free shipping. So them out. Use that link that I have up on the screen there, and then you can also check us out at and this is our link, and we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and right now, and our link tree has all of our other stuff. We have a hat giveaway going on for Christmas. You can win one of our logo hats. That's on there, and you can go to that link tree, and there's TikTok and anything else that we do. Our podcast platforms, everything's on there. So check that out. And we appreciate y'all being on with us. Appreciate all the comments today. It was a little more active, a little more fun show. We had some comments and stuff. So we want to encourage anybody that's on to kind of chat with us. And, short courts, you kind of made the end of the show really cool. So we appreciate you being on with us and making this kind of fun.
Yes, sir.
All right. Guys, we will see you this coming week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Y'all hang in with us, and we'll give you something good to listen to. Y'all have a good night.